Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be tackling the topic of staying in contact. This is part 2, dealing with calling and the drop-in feature on the Amazon Echo. Now, while we have addressed this in past seasons, we're revisiting it just to tweak it a little bit. Also, we know that a lot of people are having to stay at home or work from home, or go to school from home. This might help you to stay in contact with your colleagues, classmates, and family members, especially during the current pandemic. So we thought that might be particularly useful. All right, but before we get right into that, we have a brief message about our podcast, and then I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Hello, welcome back. So, if you've been listening for a while, we appreciate your listenership. It's a very big boon to us. And for those who have been listening for a while, we would also, if you'd like to really help us out, feel free to subscribe to our podcast on your podcast player of choice, maybe the Apple Podcast or Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, or however. And those really kind of help boost our numbers. And if you'd like to leave a little comment, we appreciate that as well. You're also welcome to give us contact us or send messages to us or questions on the Anchor.fm network, which is where are primarily hosted. Now, for those of you who are listening for the first time, I want to say thank you, and it's good to have you here. Hopefully, you'll learn a thing or two. I'm David Ward with the New Vision program at Goodwill, and I'm an assistive technology instructor. And so today, we're going to be dealing with the topic, as I mentioned, of staying in contact and using some of the native features of the Amazon Echo. Now, this includes all sorts of Amazon Echoes. This includes from the little dots all the way up to the Pringle cans, the original Echoes. This is supported, as far as I know, on all the traditional Echo-style devices. I mean, unless it was something very unusual, like the Dash wand or something. Generally, all your typical Echo Dots, Echoes, Echo Shows are going to support these features and have supported them for quite a long time. And so they're pretty cool, the ability to make calls and the like. Now, these features, before I get into describing in too much detail, I'm going to describe it, and then we'll do a demonstration. You need to enable these features using an app. And so once you've enabled the phone calling capacity on your Aid Lady app, I'm saying that right now because I don't want to trigger anybody's. But if you use the Aid Lady app, you can go in there, and usually the first time you set it up, especially if it's a telephone, it's going to prompt you to enable this feature, and you almost have to work at it to get out of it and skip that option. It's going to do a phone validation thing where it sends you a PIN code text message, and once it's established that you're in control of that phone number, it will allow your Echo to place phone calls, and on the other end, on the receiving end, it will identify itself through caller ID as though it's the cell phone that you were running the app on. Now, if you do that with multiple household members, say a father and a mother that both have the Echo, it can identify as either one. And when you place those calls, it'll ask you, are you mom or dad, or however you identified yourself. But the versatility of this is pretty awesome in that it's not using your minutes, it's not using the data to your cell phone, it's pure free internet calling through Amazon. And it's pretty staggering. And here in the United States, I think it's just pretty much anywhere in the continental United States. It's pretty cool. But we're going to give it a little test here. Before I do that, I would ask that you, if you have an Echo anywhere else in the room, you want to shut her ears off. by pressing the button on the top with a microphone with a slash through it. That way when I'm doing the demonstration, I'm not triggering your Amazon Echo at home to place a phone call. And I think you'll find that beneficial. Now, if you're listening to this podcast on that device, you're not really going to have to worry about that. I believe they've made enough adjustments that it won't trip up your device at this point to even hear itself talk about itself. That's a little meta. But anyway. All right, so I'll just give you a moment to do that. Press that button. It'll turn the ring red on the top, and then it will be ready to go. And so I'm going to do the exact opposite and turn mine ears on. And so now I think we're ready to go and do the demonstration here in our studio. So I'm going to just give you a comprehensive kind of, not exhaustive, but I'm going to blend things here to just give you the versatility. So, for example, also the A-Lady has access to yellow pages and business pages in a lot of localities. So I can mix and match. It just doesn't need to be somebody that's in my address book. By the way, if you have somebody listed as mom or dad or sister or somebody in your cell phone address book, one of the things that it's going to ask you when you establish that phone calling feature and you turn it on is it will request synchronization with your address book. And so that can be a real boon to you as well, that you can walk over to your Echo and tell it to call the exact same name or phrase that you have programmed in your phone. And by the way, I said yellow pages, not white pages. So it won't be able to just, at least last time I checked, generically look up somebody and call them. Even though, not many people are in there anymore because of cell phones anyway. All right, so let's give this a try. We're going to call the local Kroger. Alexa, call the nearest Kroger.
There is a Kroger on Brandon Avenue. Do you want to call that one?
Yes.
Calling Kroger.
Thanks for calling. We are committed to providing a great customer experience. We have updated our service hours to allow our store teams time to rest.
Alexa, hang up. So there you go. That just gives you a quick idea of how you could place a phone call. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention is a lot of times businesses like that are call trees. In other words, it'll say to reach electronics, press 3, or to reach the meat department, press 7. And you can do that on your Echo. You can just say, A-Lady, and she'll chirp up and you say, enter number 7 or enter number 5. Now, you can even use that with more advanced things like conference lines. And I've used it many times. You can just say, where you have a long digit, you can say enter 1, 2, 3, 4 and say that's your PIN code to get in. And then you'll be in. And it's that simple. During the call, like on a Zoom call, you can raise your hand. I think it's number 9. So you could say enter number 9 and you could raise your hand during the call. So that just gives you a little idea of some things that you can do with the native calling features of the Echo. Now, this is something I only recently discovered, and that is, let's see here. Alexa, call Mom's Alexa device.
That's Award from David's contacts, right?
Alexa, stop. So you could do that, and you can specify Echo to Echo calling. So it won't go to a landline, it'll actually go to their Echo device. Now, the mechanism for doing that and maintaining your confidentiality is that Amazon is the arbiter of that information. So it knows that I know Peggy Sue, and I have her phone number. And then on the other end, Peggy Sue has her Echo set up, and it's looked at her address book and sees that she knows David Ward and that she has my number. And as a consequence, it would allow us to call Echo to Echo. And so that's pretty cool. And by the way, they're a fantastic speakerphone. So they're great for that kind of featuring. You can also send messages that way as well. All right. Now, one other thing. Check this out. Alexa, call Dad's cell phone.
Did you mean Dad?
Stop. So you can even specify the type of phone if it's listed in the contact card that particular way. Now, I've even discovered if I didn't already have the relationship listed, like I say, call mom or call my sister, it will prompt you to make that connection. Who is your mom? Tell us. And it'll make the adjustment to the contact card accordingly. So very much like what Siri might do or Google would do on an Android device. All right, so that kind of brings several of these things all together. Now, I did leave out one thing I said I was going to mention, which is the drop-in feature. The drop-in feature allows you, especially if you have multiple Echoes throughout your personal house, or I have one at the job site, you can set it so that you don't have somebody on the other end has to pick up for you to instantly communicate with them. So you can instantly connect, auto-connect basically. And so that can be really helpful in the home where people are downstairs or something like that. Or maybe if you have an elderly family member and they're comfortable with you doing that, you can set that up in such a way that you can just automatically drop in on somebody. You could use it like a virtual baby monitor probably that way too. So different things that you could do in that regards. Okay, so I think I crammed a lot in there. There's even other things that you can do about the announcement feature, which is where you send out like a brief nugget to people. But I think this kind of sums up the basic calling features for the Amazon Echo. Oh, I did forget. When you do Echo-to-Echo calling, if you have Echoes with screens like the Echo shows and the cameras, that would also be a video conference option as well. And while you're placing a literal phone call, like to a landline or cell phone, on one that has a screen, you'll also see a dial pad and various controls displayed at that time. So that might give you some additional versatility if you don't want to do something verbally. All right, well, till next time, we're going to be talking about, next episode, we're going to be talking about having Alexa talk really, really fast or really, really slow. So we're going to talk about that next time, varying the speed of your Amazon Echo's voice. Until that time, it's time to turn your microphone back on, start practicing some of the many things that you learn, and I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, signing off, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.